Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tori, and today I just wanted to do a quick little mid-year flip through of my 2024 reading journal. So I am still using the same journal that I started the year with. It's getting a little bit chunky, and I love that you can tell specifically which pages I've not touched yet. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and flip through here and talk a little bit about where I'm at and all that good stuff. So I am quite ahead of my actual goal so far for this year. My goal was to read 75 books, and I'm really close, and we're only about halfway through the year. So I've got my bookshelfie. What I ended up doing for this spread was just choosing like 5 or so markers and just coloring the books in as I read them. So once I start a book, I will write the name down, and then once I finish it, I will just color it in. I did have to add, or I chose to add, a little pop out just in case I ran out of space here. And this particular pop out I made with the My Bookshelfie stamp set that's in my Etsy shop. So here's my Goodreads goal. I've been alternating each month with either a darker brown and a lighter brown. It's probably not super noticeable. Actually, I think it's more noticeable on camera than it is in person, but I like just the very slight variation. I've got my monthly totals here, upcoming releases, and my A to Z challenge, which I feel like I'm doing fairly good on. Recommended books. I have not DNF'd a book yet so far this year, so while I don't generally like empty spreads or pages, I am quite pleased that this one is still empty. I also have backlogs. If I have owned a book for longer than 1 month without reading it, I then add it to my little backlog list. This one also has a flip out because I did not leave myself enough room when I originally set up my journal. I've also got a series tracker. I'm just putting a little box for each of the books and then coloring it in as I finish, but I'm going from right to left. That way, if it is an ongoing series, I can just add additional boxes to this side. My romance trope bingo and my diverse baseline challenge tracker. I don't know if I've showed this particular spread yet because I've only just recently set it up. So for this challenge, I decided that I would make every effort to complete all of the monthly prompts through the challenge, but I'm not going to restrict myself to reading the specific prompt for the month or during the month that the prompt takes place in. So if I read my April prompts now, I will just go back in and fill those in here. 5-star reads. And then my rating system and my 4 doors to reading challenge, or 4 doors to reading information. And then we hop into all of my monthly spreads. For my monthly spreads, I just use these as essentially trackers to kind of hold the information for me. I like to look at everything overall. So I like having everything kind of just listed out. For each of my monthly spreads, I'll have a cover page, a visual time to read calendar, a reading log. This one I ran out of space, so I had to add a little flip in. Then I will have my totals and the favorite book of that particular month of the books that I read during that month. And that's going to be all that's going to be in each of my monthly setups, and that will repeat for each particular one. I do kind of change up some of the stylizations and artwork and all that good stuff just to keep it interesting and fresh, but for the most part it's all the exact same information, just pertaining to what I read that specific month. I loved March. This particular totals page I think is my favorite of all of the ones that I've done so far, maybe. For the first few months of this year, I did a lot of doodling and drawing, and then I believe in April, well, yes, in April is when I started messing with stickers and washi tape. So I printed out these stickers with some clip art from Etsy. And I do have a setup for each of these particular monthly setups on my channel if you're interested in watching those videos or seeing any of these layouts and monthly layouts come together. For May is when I really got into the washi tape for my reading journal. It's a lot quicker to set these spreads up with washi tape and stickers, but I do love the doodling option as well. I think May is when I got my reading journal stamp. Probably the first time that I used it. It is the first time that I used it in one of my setups. And I believe I've been using this ever since. I don't think that I have used just letter stamps to set up my reading journal since I got my stamps in. June, I think, is one of my favorites. I love all of the little just blueberries and pies and strawberries and stuff like that. And then for July, for the last few years that I've had a reading journal, I have done a galaxy or space theme for July, so I continued that this year and actually added in some kind of tabbed pages as well. And we are in the middle of July still, so this particular spread or monthly layout is not yet completed. And then for August, I do have this set up already. And I have the process video for this on my channel as well. And then after that, I've really just got each of these kind of penciled out for the next remaining months of the year. And I have decided this year that I was going to put all of my book review pages in the back of my book. So you can see where like these are unused pages and these are all my monthly pages. And then these are all book review pages and then the remaining unused pages for the back of the book. I thought that I would feel a little bit less restricted doing it this way, because when I do monthly setups, I feel like I also need to use that same theme for my book review pages, and I don't necessarily want to do that usually. So I decided to separate them to two halves of the book to try it this year, and so far I am loving it. I do have, I think, 2 blank spreads in between if I wanted to do any challenges or anything like that. This particular spread, I have not done anything yet with. Just in case I run out of room back here, I'm going to have to pull more book covers to this part, and then I will use one of these blank pages as kind of a title page for the back of my notebook, which will just kind of say like my thoughts on books or book reviews or who knows, I don't know yet, but eventually, I will also have kind of a little cover page to go into the back where all my book reviews are. And then I have a cover printed for every single book that I have read so far this year. And I am just tickled pink with this spread. I love it so, so much. I can't get over it. I'm so happy that I decided to do that this year. Now, after we go through this page, it will jump into all of my book reviews. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't read any of them, because sometimes I put a lot of spoilers. Sometimes I just write about what I was doing at the time that I was reading the book and what was going on in my head and stuff like that. Sometimes the stuff that I write in here has absolutely nothing to do with the book at all, which, I mean, that's fine for me. Some people that might not be an option for them, but I find that it also kind of helps me understand the mindset I was in when I was reading the book, to understand why I liked it as much as I did or why I did not like it so much. So all of these are just book reviews for all of the books that I've read this year. If there is maps or any kind of artwork within the book itself, if I have the Kindle version, I have been saving those and adding them to my book review pages. So this map was inside of the Rage of Dragons, and I just copied that and printed it out to add to my little review page. This map right here was inside this Love Redesigned book. I believe that there was actually a link as well on Lauren Asher's website where you could download like a high resolution version of it, and I think I downloaded that one. Each of my book reviews are really just depending on how I'm feeling. So if I didn't really like a book that much, I'm probably not going to give it a lot of space. I'll maybe write like 1 or 2 sentences. If I did like a book a lot, I will give it a lot more space. I love adding quotes and the names of the characters in my books to my review pages because I have like the worst short-term memory, and I will never remember anybody's name, even if I just finished the book like 2 seconds ago. So I always try to just put the names of the characters, especially for the romance books, in my book review page as well. If I've got like stickers or something that have something to do with the book, like for this one for Death's Obsession, the main female character's name is Lily or Lilith, and the Death leaves her lilies all over her bedroom all the time. So I thought it would be fun to just add some of these lily washi stickers that I had. And I really just love the way that this one looks. Some of these I still have yet to put my thoughts in, but I do try to set up the pages so that at least once I'm ready to put those thoughts in, I can just go in and write them without needing to worry about setting anything up. Here is another one that I did not place my thoughts in yet, but I did put the synopsis for this particular book in here, and I hate it because the synopsis was so long. And I hand wrote it in. So I started going line by line and then had to put 2 lines in 1 line, and it doesn't look good, and I don't like it. And that's probably why I haven't come back in and written on this page anymore, because this bothers me so much. This is another little image that was inside the book that I saved and printed out. If I have a series that I've read pretty close, like back to back with each other, I've been trying to include those books on the same page as well. These books, with the exception of this one, were all rereads this year. So instead of having individual book pages for each of these, I decided that I would just go in and pick out some of my favorite quotes. So I just put a picture of the cover for each of the books and then one of my favorite quotes from each book on this particular page. And then this one was just released this year, so I made a whole big spread for that page, for that book. This particular spread is probably one of my all-time favorites for my book pages for this whole year so far. I'm obsessed with this. Yeah, I have no other words for it. I just love the way that it came out so much. And I loved this book, The Darkening. Here's another one where I read a whole series and I just placed my thoughts for the entire series in my little review area, but also kind of coordinated the things that had to do with each book, like the characters' names. I used the same colors as the cover of the book, and then alternated for like my title, author, format, blah, blah, blah. I just alternated between those colors as well. These are all books that I read at the end of last month, and then here is beginning this month. I'm still currently reading this book, so I have not added anything else yet to this spread. And I'm just I'm not finished with these two spreads either. I don't know what else I want to do with them just yet, but I love this book so much. Let's Do This by Lauren Lee. This was a good one. And this is the last book that I have so far for the month. I just have to create, I think, 3 more actual pages or spreads, and I'll be caught up with all of my books, at least to just place my thoughts in. And then everything else back here is just blank pages for me to use for the rest of the year. I've got one page that I've been using to cut little pieces off for when I mess up. A page that I've just been testing markers on for when I'm doing like these little marker pieces. And then I also have a sticky note back here with all of my book sizes, my book cover sizes. And I'll just kind of zoom in or hold this up here if you're interested in seeing what sizes that I'm using for all of my book covers. And then in my little back pocket here, what do I have back here? I got just a piece of graph paper. And then I also have some 5-star stickers that I made a while ago. And I have actually finally pulled them out and have been using them periodically through my setups. So I've got them right here and right here. I just have to fill them in as well. But that's it. That's currently where I am at with my 2024 reading journal. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below, or if you have a favorite monthly spread or book review spread. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.